You ever feel like your house breathes? I mean really breathes, walls creaking softly like ribs expanding, floors sighing beneath invisible weight, a draft that feels just a little too purposeful. I used to laugh off those feelings. I've seen enough in life not to get rattled by an old house making noise. Ex-police, 15 years on the force, I've dealt with everything from break-ins to drug dens to full-blown cult incidents. So when my wife took the kids to her sister's place for the weekend and left me alone for the first time in years, I figured I'd enjoy the quiet. A glass of whiskey, the game on low, lights dimmed, it felt almost unnatural how peaceful it was. But peace is always a prelude to horror, isn't it? It wasn't even midnight when I heard the first knock, light, deliberate, on the basement door from the inside. Now, we don't have a second entrance to the basement. Just the one door that opens from the hallway. I checked every camera feed. Nothing. Just the static hum of silence. Thinking maybe the pipes knocked, I shook it off. But at 3:13 a.m., the exact time I'd later find circled on the old calendar we'd never used, I heard it again. 3 slow, deliberate knocks. My skin went cold. I got up, heart thudding like a warning drum, and walked toward the basement door. The air shifted. It felt heavier, like walking underwater. I opened the door fast, like ripping off a bandage. Empty steps. Darkness. I reached for the light switch, already on. The basement was pitch black, yet the bulb wasn't burned out. That's when I noticed the silence. Not just quiet, a vacuum of sound. My watch had stopped. My phone had no signal. Even the refrigerator hum was gone. I felt like I'd stepped out of reality, like something was watching from the dark that didn't belong to this world. I tried to tell myself I was imagining things. Maybe sleep-deprived. Maybe the house was just settling. But then came the patterns. Lights flickering in sequences, 2 blinks, pause, 3 blinks. I'd seen Morse code in the army. This wasn't random. I wrote it down, tried to decode it, but it didn't make sense. Then came the scratching. Not like a mouse or rat. This was rhythmic, human-like. Fingernails across drywall. I followed the sound to the guest room, the one we never use. Inside, nothing was out of place except for a photo of my family, our wedding photo, propped against the pillow. The thing is, that photo had been in our attic for years, packed in a sealed box. I hadn't touched it. The attic hatch was still locked from the outside. So how the hell did it end up here? That night I didn't sleep. I watched the hallway through the camera feed on my phone, my gun on the nightstand. And at 4:06 a.m. I saw it, something crawling backwards across the ceiling, limbs bending the wrong way. It stopped above my bedroom door, and stared directly into the camera. Its eyes were pitch black but not empty, full of movement like swirling ink. I blinked and it vanished. The video didn't save. It never does when it appears. I began marking the times, the signals. The same sequence of knocks at 3:13. The blinking lights. Always the same. I called an electrician, a priest, even a paranormal team. No one lasted more than a few hours. One of them left screaming. He never explained why. That week I stopped leaving the house. I began noticing my reflection didn't always follow my movements. Once I looked into the bathroom mirror and saw myself grinning even though I wasn't. Another time I was brushing my teeth and the lights went out. When they came back on, the reflection was gone for a full 2 seconds before it snapped back into sync. I stopped using mirrors after that. Covered them all. But even that didn't help. Now the walls whispered. Always in threes. Always when I was alone. I left the house the next morning. Drove for hours with no destination, just trying to breathe, think straight. When I came back, I brought a friend, Gary, a fellow officer I trusted with my life. We searched every inch of the house. Basement, attic, crawlspace. Nothing. But something told me to pull up the floorboards in the basement. That's when we found it. An old diary, pages nearly rotted, wrapped in burlap and tucked in a shallow grave beneath the foundation. The writing inside was frantic, scrawled in what looked like blood. It spoke of rituals, voices, a man trapped beneath the house who never slept. It ended with a line that still haunts me. He lives in silence and watches in stillness. He knows when you're alone. We dug deeper and found bones. Human bones. Small ones. Children. Gary and I looked at each other and didn't say a word. He wanted to call it in, but I stopped him. I knew no one would believe us. There were no missing person reports. No signs of forced entry. Nothing. Just the bones and the book. That night, Gary insisted we leave. Said he saw something in the mirror behind me, something smiling. We burned the diary. We thought it was over. But silence is never just silence. Not in that house. Not anymore. In the following days, we both started experiencing things outside the house. Gary saw shadows in his rearview mirror, only to find nothing there. I woke up with dirt on my hands and no memory of how it got there. One night I heard knocking on the walls, 3 knocks, pause, 3 knocks. When I followed the sound, I found a note pinned to my front door. No handwriting. Just printed letters, "You're not alone." We moved a month later. New home, new locks, cameras, alarms. I even had a priest bless the place, though I never believed in that stuff. But every 3:13 a.m. the cameras catch static. Then come the knocks, 3 slow raps, always from the back door even when we don't have one. My son says he sees a man in the corners of his room. My wife dreams of scratching sounds and wakes up with bruises. I tried everything, psychics, therapists, tech experts. But I know the truth now. You can't escape something that doesn't live in your house, but beneath it. It doesn't care about walls or doors. It waits in silence. And it feeds on solitude. It got worse when I tried to tell the story online. Every time I typed it, the power would flicker or the screen would freeze. Once, the words rearranged themselves on the screen. Silence is his language. I shut the laptop. Burned my journals. But it didn't matter. I was already marked. I think you only get one warning. And I ignored it. I told my family we were cursed. That we had to move again. But it followed. It always follows. Now, every night, I sit in my living room with every light on, every camera recording. And every night I hear the knock. I don't check anymore. I just wait. Because deep down, I know that if I open the door, even once, it won't be just a knock anymore. And now that I've told you this story, maybe it's watching you too. If you hear a knock tonight and you're sure you're alone, don't open it. Don't even breathe. Because silence isn't empty. It's waiting.